10 surprising psychology facts worth knowing. Psychology is a young but rapidly growing science that studies our mind, behavior, and emotions. Although it only emerged as a discipline in its own right about a century and a half ago, it has already yielded a lot of surprising discoveries. Here are 10 psychological facts that may astound you and even make you reconsider your behavior and perceptions. 1. A tendency to blame people rather than circumstances. When things go wrong, we are more likely to blame people rather than situations. This phenomenon is called the fundamental attribution error. For example, if someone cuts you off on the road, you're more likely to assume that person is irresponsible or impolite, rather than thinking about possible circumstances, such as an emergency trip to the hospital. This effect helps us understand why it's important to be more empathic and consider context. 2. You can be convinced of things that didn't happen. The psychology of memory shows how malleable our minds are. Studies suggest that it is possible to indoctrinate a person with false memories in a matter of hours. Some participants in such experiments sincerely believed that as teenagers they had committed crimes that did not happen, and even described details that did not exist. This fact emphasizes how important it is to 3. Goals that are communicated are less likely to be achieved. When you share your plans with others, your motivation to realize them may decrease. This is because voicing your goals already gives you a sense of satisfaction, as if you have partially accomplished them. To succeed, it's better to work in silence and show results later. 4. Loneliness can be deadly. Long-term loneliness negatively affects your health, increasing your risk of premature death by 50%. It weakens immunity, causes chronic inflammation, and increases the likelihood of cardiovascular disease. Social connections are not only a way to socialize, but 5. Dopamine makes you addicted to information. Dopamine, often referred to as the pleasure hormone, is not only involved in reward, but also in information seeking. It's what keeps us endlessly scrolling through social media feeds, even if we've been tired for a long time. To avoid the dopamine loop trap, it's helpful to consciously limit the time we spend online. 6. Religious practices reduce stress. Regular prayer or participation in religious practices can lower stress levels and reduce the risk of depression. This is due to the sense of belonging, ritual structure, and strengthening social bonds. 7. You are blind to the obvious. A phenomenon known as inattention blindness shows how limited our attention is. In a famous experiment, participants focusing on counting assists in a game failed to notice a man in a gorilla suit crossing the court. This reminds us of the importance of 8. The mind likes to wander. Your thoughts wander off to the side about 30 to 70% of the time, depending on the situation. This is a natural process that can both hinder productivity and promote creativity. For example, a wandering mind often helps you find new ideas and solutions. 9. Today's adolescents are more anxious than patients of the last century. Research shows that anxiety levels in high school students today are comparable to what was seen in 10. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Some people with low qualifications overestimate their abilities, while experts tend to doubt their competence. This happens because of the difference in the perception of their knowledge. Inexperienced people do not realize their incompetence, while professionals think that what is easy for them is easy for everyone. Conclusion. Psychology opens a veil over our habits, perceptions, and emotions, helping us to better understand ourselves and others. Remember that knowledge is not only a way to surprise your friends, but also a tool for personal development. Which of these facts have you noticed in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments.